Hello, everybody, and welcome to another World of Warcraft live developer Q&A. My name is Ian Hazzikostas, Game Director, World of Warcraft. We are in our nice new studio space, which is soundproofed, so hopefully you will no longer hear people talking a little bit more about the actual Classic. Just for everyone's awareness, we're not talking about WoW Classic today. That's just because...
No more Classic stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right. People are going to be a little bit more interested in the new expansion.
This time around, we want to go really heavy on the class struggle. It's the first time we're really giving our fully high-fidelity depth and customization to many of the parallel progression paths. You might spend 4, 5, 6 months cobbling together your full identity, and many people never assembled it at all. First and foremost, we're looking at what races are cool, and then from there, once we've picked the races, we're looking at what classes make sense for that race, given their nature, given their identity, given their culture, and restore, the races to their proper place in that society. And then it allows for representation of a wide variety of the races compatible with classes. Then you're kind of locked into those classes as opposed to, our 22nd or 23rd take on competition. And I think there's value in stability and consistency. At this point, it's been the same. We've had the same structure for the entirety of Warlords, the entirety of Legion, and looking ahead to Battle for Azeroth. People can have stable expectations around that structure and make decisions based on it, and there's value in that as well. You're opting into this experience, and there's some structure to it and some incentive for it.
Okay, cool. That's super cool.
I think current thinking is, so we recognize the very great importance of community. We want to allow events, we want to allow organization and community to flourish, and yeah, you have to pre-plan it to some extent. You have to plan when you're doing it. And, that means that we can actually create global social burdens there.
Have you ever considered, I'm sure you have, the idea of killing people? We've already killed Vol'jin.
Always, I think, generally feels better where mistakes are punished in a way that's going to doom you in the long run. You can only get away with so many. We've talked a lot about this in the past. I think some of this is, it's challenging hitting a tuning point that's right on what the cutting edge are capable of, that will be challenging enough to allow the best skills in the world to differentiate themselves from each other, because that's our initial goal. What does that mean for the millions of people who just don't get this experience at all? The only way they could would be to leave their friends. And that tended to kill a lot of those ideas. We're not looking to do something on that level. Change is very costly and very disruptive, and it's jarring to come back and feel like something has fundamentally changed. That said, it's inevitable that not all those experiments were successful. There's something cool about the fantasy of the master of discord that has an army at your command and uses them to blow up your enemies. There's something less cool about the execution of significant ramp-up time and a maintenance-y feel that actually doesn't make you feel all that empowered. It's more, you're just trying to juggle a bunch of stuff and worry about that. That's more problematic. So that's something we'll be digging into. Managing a mythic roster is challenging. Managing any insurrection is challenging. And that's been a struggle for classes throughout history. That complicates things a bit. That's not to say it'll never happen, but down the line, years from now, that's certainly something we could revisit and see. How does that feel? How does that make sense when you're in 2020 looking back at this? But for right now, it feels appropriate.
Okay.
It's inevitable that there'll be some fights despite our best efforts, and that's just it's a struggle. These are just dead people, right? You have to constantly be recruiting, and that is one of the very great challenges of maintaining a prestige, but also power where it makes sense, because that's the best way to win. So we're excited to be able to do that.
Okay.
I think we don't have a great specific plan to discuss yet, but there's definitely something cool about the idea, especially given the broader story that we're telling here of army showing up at the gates with a bone to pick and being able to see that play out more often the way you sometimes did back in the day.
Okay. There's a lot of that to talk about.
Get some info out there, but it would have been, it would have felt like a bit of a distraction. I think there are places where I think we'll try to draw lines and not over-explain, not share everything. Sometimes, magicians want to keep their secrets and their tricks. That said, obviously, if some class is going away, if something's not going away, if we're going to have a new currency, those are things that can affect your current planning And we're trying to catch people off guard and give people unpleasant experiences in that regard, where you wasted some resource that you wish you hadn't once you learned something different. That's not the problem. And that's
Right.
if it feels like that's what's being incentivized, that tells us the system is tuned correctly. And really, I think organization is a very bright future in Battle for Azeroth. We're very excited for the potential of it, and it's something we know we need to devote more resources and effort to balancing. This isn't an official statement, I guess, because this decision hasn't been made, but competition is actually something I would favor not carrying forward.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually, because when you think about it, I'm slightly too far to the left. Not sure yet whether or not we should be looking forward to finding 5,000 shards of Varian to piece back together into...
Probably not. Well, the barber can also do plastic surgery if you don't like,
Practic.
There's some sketchiness in that barber shop, but look, just give him some gold.